ASMR hideout video. Today we got an interesting one because we're going to talk about my theory of tingles, and I'm going to give you an equation that maximizes your tingles. And I wanted to mention that this video was inspired by Aggressively Gentle ASMR's Defeating Tingle Immunity video, and I resonated with a lot of the stuff he said there. I thought there was some very, very useful information, but I wanted to add some of my own stuff as well. And I got my notes here on the right that I'm going to be referring to. So I'm going to start with what are tingles, right? So they're the, relaxing, tingling feeling you feel in your scalp and neck. And I remember for me, I've been watching ASMR for about a decade now. For me, I didn't even start feeling tingles until maybe 2 or 3 years in. I would feel tingles on my lower back, but rarely before that, but never really got tingles on my scalp. And I think a big reason is I never watched ASMR with headphones, and I mainly watched it to relax and go to sleep. I wasn't really searching for tingles, which leads me to my next point. Okay, I think there are 2 different branches of ASMR. There's a branch that's going to give you tingles, and a branch that is meant to relax you. And now they can overlap. Those are going to be the best ASMR videos that both give you tingles and relax you. And the tingling sensation itself is oftentimes a very relaxing sensation. But in my experience, I think certain videos I'm going into knowing, hey, I'm going to tingle on this video, or this is just going to relax me and help me go to sleep. But like I said, the best videos are going to do both. And there's some science behind this. One study found that ASMR watchers' heartbeats dropped, but their skin arousal increased by watching ASMR, so ASMR both relaxed and stimulated the nervous system at once. So ASMR can do, there's 2 sides of the same coin, right? So the first variable I have in my tingle equation is the intensity of the trigger. And I think it's important to vary the intensity, but getting closer to the mic often elicits more tingles. Maybe faster usage of the trigger can elicit more tingles, and this is the reason headphones matter so much, is because you can experience the triggers in a much more intense manner, right? And it's closer. Anyway, I think the intensity of the trigger is a big part of the tingling equation. So the next part of the tingle equation is the trigger quality, and this is the most subjective part of it, because some people are going to enjoy mouth sounds, some people are going to enjoy mic scratching, whatever. This is the variable that factors that in. So the triggers you like, you're going to experience more tingles. Obviously, that's just what this is saying. A lot of the stuff I say in this video, you may be able to relate to your own ASMR experience, but I'm trying to formulate it in a more theoretical manner. And this is also kind of where layer triggers fit in in this category and the intensity category, because there's more stimulation and there's just more triggers that factor in. So if you're doing, you're having a sound playing with another tingly sound playing, then that can increase your amount of tingles. So, or even hand movements and visual movements of any kind can heavily influence tingles. And the next point is in the unexpectedness of the trigger. This is the one Aggressively Gentle ASMR touched up the most on, and I think it could be the most important. If you're not expecting something to happen, if it just you randomly get some hand sounds or randomly get some visual movements, right? It's more likely to give you tingles than if it's very rhythmic, you know what's coming, right? Versus a rain of whatever. Anyway, and this is the reason anticipatory ASMR works so well, in my opinion, because the build-up to a trigger happening is very tingling. And this category also explains why ASMR videos are much more tingly on your first watch than any subsequent viewings, is because you're not expecting what's happening. You don't know, the triggers, you don't know how they sound, you don't know exactly what's gonna happen. And this is, sometimes I'll watch a really tingly part of a video, and I'll watch it another, 2 or 3 times, and by the 4th or 5th time, I'm no longer getting tingles from it. Maybe if I revisit the video a few weeks later, I'll get tingles again, but, there's a quick degradation of tingles once you watch something more than once. And there's another big factor to tingles that gets kind of put to the side, but it's the attention factor. The more you put attention to a video, the more likely you are to experience tingles from it. Like if you just have it playing in the background, you're unlikely to get tingles. Or if you're focused on something else, I feel like you're less likely to get tingles than if you're focused on the video. For me, I watch a lot of Reiki ASMR videos. Sometimes I'll have them playing, but I'm not getting tingles until I'm actually looking at them and seeing the hand movements and focusing on, what's happening. And I get invested with like the stones and all that. Like that's more likely to give me tingles than if I just hear it. And then another element to tingling, I think, is the social bonding aspect of ASMR. This is like the reason role plays are so popular, and I think it's the reason people have favorite creators. It's because obviously they like how a certain ASMR artist makes sounds, and they like their style and all that. But they also develop a familiarity with this ASMR artist, making them more likely to be able to experience tingles from this person. And I know it kind of contradicts the novelty aspect, but I feel like the novelty aspect has less to do with the person. Sometimes it can. Sometimes watching new ASMR artists can help in developing tingles, but a lot of it has to do with the triggers. And this familiarity element, I think, has to do with more relaxation than tingles. Like you are more able to sleep in your own bed than if you're sleeping in a bed at a friend's house. Like you just have a more familiar environment, and it makes it a lot easier to relax. I also think this is why ASMR videos with like a face and a voice are more popular than faceless channels in general. And they've done studies trying to determine which parts of the brain are responsible for the ASMR sensation. And, some parts were the social bonding parts of the brain. So this kind of social connection is a little overlooked in ASMR, but you see it in like role plays and personal attention videos and stuff. Now, this one is something you're not going to get from a specific ASMR artist, but something that I found can enhance tingles is physical touch. So like if you lightly brush, your arm, and then you like scratch it, like you're more, it doesn't have to be your arm, it could be your chest, your stomach, the side of your, your hips or whatever. But this can greatly increase tingles and a relaxing sensation in my experience. So if you've never tried this, I would recommend it. So this kind of leads to, there's 2 main pathways to experience ASMR and experience tingles. The first one is the sensory and like the novelty pathway, where you're experiencing intense new triggers of high trigger quality, and you're not expecting it. So those are the 3 main things in the equation, right? A trigger you enjoy, some sort of unexpectedness, it's used in a new way, or you haven't experienced this trigger yet, and then the intensity. So maybe it goes from far away to up close all suddenly, and it's you get rapid tingles from that. Another way, and the other pathway to experience it, is the familiarity pathway, where you're with a creator that you are comfortable with, and they're giving you a role play or a personal attention video, or just some sort of, or even just talking, and this can lead to a deeper relaxation. And these are not contradicting pathways. That I think they can feed off of each other. So that leads me to giving you the optimal tingle equation. The optimal tingle equation is an unexpected new trigger or application of a trigger, a high trigger quality, so a trigger you enjoy, variable but peaking intensity, and performed by one of your favorite ASMR artists. I think those things will maximize your tingles if you can find something like that, and they're rare to come by. But once you get them, you experience a rapid tingling sensation. And if you're feeling extra spicy, you can also do light touching sensations while this trigger is happening to really maximize relaxation and tingle effect. Also, using headphones while this is happening is going to further enhance the experience. And I wanted to mention that if none of this works, then the best way to defeat tingle immunity is to take a break from ASMR. That's just the tried and true method. So, I would recommend that over everything else, really. But this is just kind of giving you something to base your, what you're looking for off of. So,